In this video we're going to start randomizing things so that we don't just have it in one place just dropping down. We can change the color, we can change the place where it starts, we can change how big it is. Let me just remind you that this was our code, and if I go over to index.html and choose run, launching Chrome, then we get a red ball dropping down the screen. Let me just close that down. So going back to our code.js, I did this one, whoops, particle 2. So if I wanted 2 particles, I could set up the second particle and make that blue with a different starting position. So it's starting at x 200 rather than 100. But what I would need to do is put that on the screen as well by doing p2.update. And when I save that code and reload the page, there you go, I've got 2 balls dropping down the screen. So I'm going to shut down Google Chrome for the time being, and we're going to look at randomizing some of these details. So to start off with, I'm going to think about the radius. So I'm going to have a variable called the minimum radius, and I'm going to set that to 5. So that's quite small. Then I'm going to have a maximum radius, because I want to generate a number between these two at 50. So I'm going to generate a number between 5 and 50. You can change whatever values you like, but obviously if it's too big it won't appear very well on the screen. And then I'm going to have some colours. So I'm going to have a variable. Now this is an array, which is a list of items. Colours equals, starts off with a square bracket and ends with a square bracket. And my first colour is going to be red. That's the colour I've chosen already. And I need to separate them with a comma. The next one that I want is going to be blue. Let's do it in English. Blue and a comma there. Now, at the moment, that's sort of at the start of the line. I don't want there. So if I press tab a few times and line it up nicely underneath the red, that will be fine. And then press enter. And when you do that, your red square bracket there will go to the right place. So let's get a few more colours in. I want a green. Now all the colours need to be strings, which means they're between quote marks and must end with a comma if there is going to be another one. So let's do another one. Let's have some pink in there. Let's have another one. Let's have a black one. So I'm just choosing basic colours which will appear on a web page. You should have done this before with Jabberwocky. And finally I'm going to choose a yellow colour. And because that's my last one, I'm not going to put a comma on the end, but I will put a semicolon at the end of my list. So what I need now is a way of generating some random values. I'm going to start off with the colour. Just type along. It's going to be a little bit difficult to explain what's happening. Maybe later on when you're a bit more used to this with Python, we can give the reason why. But at the moment we just need to type it. So I need a function called colours. Called random colours. Random colour. If only I could spell colour correctly. Which is going to take an array of colours, open my curly brackets, and then just choose return, and what colours I want. So I need a library called math. I need a function in there called floor. Don't worry what that does at the moment. Open and close some round brackets, and inside here I need to say that I want a random value and I want it to be from the length of that list of items. So that is a way of getting a random colour, just picking one of these at random. I want another function now so I can have a random number between 5 and 50 or anything that I want really. So again, I need a function. I'm going to call this one random int from range. Int stands for integer, and I'm going to pass in two values, the minimum value that I want to start with and the biggest number I can possibly get. Open and close my curly brackets, and again I need to return from the math library the floor function, and in this I also need to have math.random as I did with the colours, but this time instead of choosing a colour I need to do a little mathematical formula. Open and close round brackets, so that's the maximum number, take away the minimum number, plus 1 and add on the minimum value. I'm not going to explain what that is, just type it in. That will give me or that is a method for getting a random number between the two numbers that I give it, 5 and 50 for example. Put a semicolon at the end of that line. So there's my random stuff. So I need to change my program now to take that into account. So I need to whiz all the way down to where I create my particles. In fact, I'm going to get rid of that one. I'm just going to have the one particle. And I don't want to be putting these in. These are called hard-coded. Yeah, I'm just giving it a number, hard-coding it. Really what I want to do is have some of these random values here. So I'm going to have to set them up. Now, this first one here is going to be my X value. This second one is going to be my Y value. That's the position on the screen. That one there is going to be the radius. And that one there is going to be what colour I choose. And they're random. So at the moment that won't work because I need to say what these values are. So just above it I'm going to set them. So I'm going to start off with X, and I'm going to say that is a random int from range. Remember I needed the biggest number and the smallest number. Start off with the smallest, that's 0. Now the X value is how far across it is going on the screen, so we start at 0 right on the left hand edge, comma, and down here canvas width is the actual width of the screen. So if I type in there canvas.width, I'm generating a random number between the left hand edge and the right hand edge. I can do the same with the Y value, starting at 0 here, and the biggest number canvas.height down there. So Y equals random int from a range 0 to canvas.height. Job done. So now I need to do the radius. So I want a random value for my radius. So I say the radius is equal to random int from range. Now it would probably be better if you copied and pasted this so that you didn't make any spelling mistakes. Much easier, but I'm typing it out so I can talk to you. Now we said that we got up here a minimum radius and a maximum radius, and I'm going to use those two values here. So that's the minimum radius and the maximum radius. So that's the radius dealt with. So all I need to do now is get a random colour. So I'm going to say that my colour is equal to what did I call it? Random random colour, and I need to give it my list of colours. And that should be pretty much it. So if I save a program and then go back to index and launch that in Chrome, I should see this time, instead of a red ball dropping down the screen in one location, I should see it dropping down. Oh, there we go, we've got a green ball, it's quite small. Try running it again, a yellow ball, different location, pink ball, larger, and so on. But I'm having to press this reload each time I want one, so it might be better if I actually use some code to so that when I click on the browser with my mouse, it automatically starts off with more new balls. So I'm going to do something called add event listener, so I can type it or I can click on here and press enter. So that was a lot easier. Add event listener, so that means it's going to listen to the web browser, and in round brackets and in speech marks, if I click the browser, what I want to do is come back to this init function and start over again. Again, I want to add a listener because I might want to resize, whoops, I might want to resize my browser, and if I do, I want it to restart every time I resize my browser window. And that's it. So let's just save and test that. And I'm going back to index, run, launching Chrome. So instead of pressing the reload button this time, all I need to do is click on the screen with my mouse. There's a big blue one, pink one, yellow one, red one. There we go. Lots of different colours. You should check out that you get each colour that you've got in your list. So really we need to know the start one, which is a red one, there we go, and the end one, which would be a black one. So if I can see a black one, we've got it. There we go. And I'm also clicking on the actual browser to make it work. Now remember I said it would also work if we resize it, so if I click on the change the screen size and then stretch it, it should, there we go, it should start dropping the balls. Now we don't always see them because they might be off the bottom of the screen when they start. There we go. So that's our second program. Have a go at that. In the next one we will try and put more balls on the screen.